right. So today was the direct, guys, and it was glorious. Literally, we did a poll during the show. Over 91% gave it an A. Um, what's like 7% gave it a B, and then 1% gave it a C, and 1% gave it a D. Like some stupid, like crazy numbers. Like it was amazing, right? Um, so Xbox Dev Direct has a nice little recap from Xbox Wire. And again, we know everything that kind of went in, but when they talk about it, they give you a little bit more um, information to kind of go with it. So I will let me see if I can open this up on YouTube here. Go. See there. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna put that. I'll put that playing while we chat about what was shown. So this was Doom: The Dark Ages, which just showed up in such a huge way. It's not even funny. So what they wrote, Doom: The Dark Ages launching May 15th, 2025. That's our May game. So that's officially the furthest release date we know for sure for this year. And it's coming to Xbox Series X, the Xbox app for Windows PC, Steam, PlayStation 5, Play Day One with Game Pass, right? Beautiful. It says the team at ID Software shared a deep dive into Doom: The Dark Ages and revealed the cinematic epic first-person shooter will launch on May 15, 2025. Doom: The Dark Ages, a prequel to the critically acclaimed Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal, is set in a dark fantasy sci-fi world with Doom's immediately recognizable hellish twist. In the segment, 3 core pillars of the game were explored: combat, which dug into deadly new weapons of mass destruction the Slayer can wield; exploration, which offered a glimpse at an incredible new medieval-inspired setting that will take players to never before seen dark and sinister realms; and story, which gave an overview of the characters and stakes the Slayer will face in his journey to turn the tides of a war. This is the most ambitious Doom game to date. Id Software is seizing the chance to present both newcomers and longtime fans alike with an epic adventure as a super weapon in a medieval war against hell itself. Okay, so there's also like a whole article that they have about it separately. I'm not going to go into that, but they did talk about those 3 pillars, right? When we were watching, right? They were talking about the guns, exploration, and the story. And this is actually, we got some really, really big news from this. Like, this is a big deal. One of the ones that, really, I think is going to make a big difference is the story, right? So now they're actually bringing the story into the game, like into the cinematics, into the actual, play time, right? You're going to be playing and you're going to get story. It's going to be part of it. Where we know in the past, they've put most of that into like codexes and stuff like that, right? So it's like information you can go find if you want to see it, but you don't get to experience it, right? So I love the fact that they're really trying to take Doom into a more, I would say, like wholesome game, right? Like, meaning it has all angles covered. It's not just go in there, shooty bang bang, call it a day, right? They're going to give you that, but they're also going to give you a story to go with that.
They want to give you that full experience, right? Where nothing is necessarily lacking.
Yeah, almost like a Diablo, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Diablo, if you remove the story, you still got that fun gameplay loop that people love, right? The story just kind of adds to it, right? Gives you that purpose. And I feel like Doom in the past, obviously, because they don't do super big focus on story, it's always been like just enough of a story to kind of like tell you why you're doing this, right? But there's not like a huge story
and then go into
that goes along with it unless you dig into it, right? Where now you're going to get that. So very, very excited about that. And then exploration, some of the other games, I don't know if you guys have played them, but you can find like hidden shit, and like if you find like this wall that you can break, you can go grab something, right? So they've done the exploration stuff, but again, it's like at a smaller scale, where the way they were talking about this made it more like they're going to be opening up the world, right? Like you're going to be able to go and explore and find these things and experience new things that not everyone is going to experience, right? And for me, that's such a huge thing. Like, I do enjoy when I play a game and I do something that I feel in that moment that was an experience that I had and not that everyone's going to automatically have.
I do love that too.
I do. It's a dope feeling. That's why I always like Breath of the Wild, where you can climb anywhere, right? Like, if people didn't choose to climb up there, you might not have found the thing, right? Outside of people who are doing like 100% runs, right, where they're just trying to find everything. Most people don't do that. So, if you look at it and you go somewhere that somebody hasn't been, that's dope. That's exciting for me. So that just gets me thinking about how much more there's going to be to the world that you're going to be able to explore. And then the combat, man, the guns, I love the way the shield is a big part of it. I love how they showed that, like, each game that they've done, has kind of changed the focus on the combat. And this is more like, you're more of like a tank, right? You're getting more of like that heft.
Iron, heavy duty feeling.
Absolutely, right? So you're getting to go ahead and, have that power trip that's not like an acid trip. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, oh my God, like going crazy every, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what Doom Eternal was. Like, if you weren't flipping around 360 constantly, you're getting killed or shot from somewhere else, right? So, like, you had to always be on your guard, where this looks very much more like you're going to be feeling these individual battles, and there's a lot of people, but you're going to be like tanking through it. It just looked dope. The weapons look crazy. I love the shield. Like, that's going to be epic. They have the mace and all this other, like, they have so much more that comes that's going into the combat of this game. I'm so amped for it. What did you guys think, man? Like, did it hit the same way for you guys? Like, this trailer made me way more amped than I was. Like, I was already amped, but this trailer kind of took me there, right? That it was a perfect deep dive for me. What did you guys feel? Maybe you can start, Doodle.
I mean, it looks freaking phenomenal, and you're absolutely right. The way that they presented the game, it kind of really just showed you more reasons why you should be pumped about it. Right away, like, the combat is so raw, and it just draws you in. You feel empowered. I love games that make you feel like you're just badass and you have that power, and it kind of just shows through the movement and the action that you're taking. The shield alone and his weapons are just insane. And again, it has that heavy feeling that you're gonna really go ahead and get in there and you can destroy anything. And so when you have a game that is already so well done when it comes to the combat, and you're going to elevate not just the combat but the story and the exploration, I mean, you have a winning formula here. I do think that they are kind of saying, where are we lacking? And let's go ahead and enhance those things, and let's bring that in as well, so nothing is necessarily missing. Graphically impressive. It looks insane. I don't know how you can go ahead and hype people up even more for a game that you're already hyped for.
Also, Farah, before you go, I agree with you, babe. And the other thing that they said that was which I think is going to be a big deal, and honestly, like it's a big deal for me, because like Doom can get pretty crazy, right? Like, pretty challenging. And again, we live in this world where we have so many games to play, right? And like, back in the day, trust me, I was all for it, right? I was all for it. Like, Halo legendary runs by myself, legendary runs co-op. I was just legendary all day. That's the only way I started that shit. As soon as I put in the Halo, legendary, baby, let's go. Right? I don't care how long it takes me. I don't give a shit. This is what I'm playing. This is where I'm staying. Right? Like, I don't have the time for that shit no more. I don't. I don't have the time to keep hitting my head against a wall. And yeah, I'm getting through it, but it's just taking me so much fucking longer. And it's like, dude, like, I don't have time for that experience anymore.
Yeah.
So for
and a part of that's the Game Pass effect also.
Well, that's true, because I know there's so much more waiting for me that I could be playing, right? Mm-hmm. So, like, for me, I'll play that shit like normal, right? Like play regular. And as soon as that shit gets crazy, where if I find myself like this is just becoming a pain in the ass, I'll drop that fucking
No
level. I don't give a
problem.
shit. I'm trying to
Dial
get through
down,
this bitch,
baby.
right? The alternative is I stop playing.
But this
right?
is the thing, right? It's we only used to get a couple of games a year. So yes, you wanted to do that. You needed to do that almost, right? To go ahead and stay engaged and kind of feel like you still have more to conquer. I do believe that nowadays, again, I saw Pragmatic say in the chat that he's going to be juggling like 10 games at the time. And that's the thing. We have Faro here talking about a calendar. Listen, Farah, it's not a bad idea. Maybe gaming calendars will be dope to personalize and even sell. That'll be pretty cool.
Even then, you only got 7 days in a week, fam.
Yes, that's the thing.
Like 42 games.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? At any given moment that you want to play, right? And that's where there's a problem, right? So I mean, like Meet the Cheater says, I agree. CMoney, I'll play a game on easy just to play more games. I mean, that's really what it is. I want the experience, right? I don't like for me. I'm past the idea that challenge somehow needs to be my experience. Like I'd much rather like get a power trip when I play a game. You know what I'm saying? Like go like feel like a badass and do dope shit. And I'm not saying I need it to be super easy. I'm down with challenge. I just don't want to be in like this hitting the brick wall nonstop.
Well,
right?
This is why it's so important for games like these, like Doom, to go ahead and make sure that they do deliver also on that story, right? So that it doesn't it kind of fills in from every angle. You do want to go ahead and experience the story. You want something to keep, you want to know more of what's next. And that's the way to keep the gamer engaged and not move on to the next one. So it's important that they're doing that.
But what they're doing here, just to be clear for anyone who didn't see it, and I think it's amazing, is that they're not just doing a blanket, like, all right, now you're in easy mode. Like, no, they're letting you literally scale any part of the game that's fucking with you. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
so like,
fantastic.
You don't have to say, well, all right, now, I'm on normal, but this one type of shit is kicking my ass. So now I'm going to go to easy. And then everything else is really easy, which I was fine with all that other shit.
Yes.
So the fact that you can actually go in and scale shit, if it's the game's too fast, you can slow it down. If the game's too slow, you can fucking speed it up.
Crazy.
Yeah, you can even customize hard mode, which is crazy. Yeah.
Exactly. That is phenomenal, right? That is so dope. I also Mac22TH says Lasso. Did I ever do that? No, because for whatever reason, Skulls, I could not like get behind them for that much. Like I would do like one or two. I just did not fuck with the Skulls too much. I haven't in my like entire time for the most part, but just Legendary in general, yes, every time. But this is beautiful, right? This is dope. This makes me say, all right, I know that no matter what, right, I'm gonna get through this game, right? I'm not gonna get to a point where it's like, oh fuck, like I'm screwed. This is too much. I don't want to keep doing this shit. Like
Souls game is very important to be able to customize.
I wish they would do it in a Souls game.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? I wish they would.
They will appeal to a lot more players.
They're like the only group of people who have like this thing where like, it's a Souls game. So if
deal
you
with
think
it.
good, then don't fucking play it. It's like, bitch, I bought the game.
But
I bought it. I want to fucking continue through.
Yes.
I want to keep going, but I can't because your bitch ass fucking boss is too difficult. Like it's too much.
It's kind of like how I say about players, don't box yourselves in and kind of try different things. This is the problem with like Souls game. They want to box themselves in. This is just the only way. And I think that if they went ahead and had more, customization or more options for the players, that they would actually have a lot more people wanting to play these type of games.
They wouldn't be
especially considering the amount of Souls game that they make nowadays. I feel like we saw them all over the freaking place. But also I love such a sales pitch, by the way. They went ahead with Doom and they were like, this is a perfect way that if you haven't played any Doom games to jump into the franchise. When you hear about a game, and we were talking about like Final Fantasy, right? When you hear Final Fantasy 16, if you haven't played those games before and you're a new gen getting into gaming, you hear Final Fantasy 16 and you're like, oh crap, okay, maybe I shouldn't even be jumping into this. for them to go ahead and kind of, I feel like they just hit every note. They hit on what they've elevated. They've expanded the game. You customize now little like details, and on top of it, it's like this is the perfect way to kind of jump into the franchise. I mean, talk about a sales pitch.
Well, nothing to keep in mind and why this is happening, right? Because it's never been a thing for Doom up until this point. Very simple. Game Pass. 100% Game Pass. They know that there's going to be a lot more people jumping into this game than there has ever been in Doom's history. Okay, at first on day one, right? And at the end of the day, you don't want people to be like, yeah, that game was fun, but I can't play it. It's too much. It's too this. Like, no, they want people playing. So they want the option. And it's like, look, fucking Elden Ring, loved it, right? But it was, hard as balls. But the difference with that was that I was able to leave, right? I can go away. I can say this battle was too much of a pain in the ass for me. So I'm going to go do something else, come back when I'm stronger, right? But that is dope, right? That shit is dope. And I was like, okay, cool. I have that option. But like, for instance, on PlayStation, I have Bloodborne, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Bloodborne
oh my gosh.
Was a game that I actually really enjoyed. Like playing it in the beginning, when I started playing the game, I'm like, yo, this doesn't feel that bad. Like this is actually pretty dope. I like the attacks. Like it was one of my first Souls games that I played. And I'm like, okay, this is not bad, right? But I got to the first fucking boss on the goddamn bridge, right? This wolf or whatever the fuck it was flying around or doing some crazy shit. And I couldn't pass him. I couldn't pass it, couldn't beat it. I didn't understand the concept of fighting the other guys and getting stronger. I don't know. It was a pain in the ass. Point is that I could never get past it. And I always saw people talk about the game and how dope it is and how much more there was to it. It was like, I can't fucking get there.
Yeah, because it's like, okay, you won. All right, you won.
Like, I hate it. Sure, great. Like, fine. I bought the game. You got me, and I can't experience this shit because I can't pass this fucking dude.
But I keep hearing you say, I bought the game. I bought the game. Like, it's crazy that
we all hit a wall like that
before. This is what Game Pass eliminates. It's such a big deal.
That's true.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, right? See, that's what I'm saying with them. They want you to stick around.
Yes.
They know if you hit that wall, you're just gonna fucking nope out, right?
Yeah.
And you're gonna be gone, and you're not gonna look back, no matter how dope the game is, because you're spending all this time and energy making all this dope ass shit, like those mech battles. That's just not gonna happen in the first hour. You know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna experience that later in the game.
Yeah.
And if people can't get there, you did all that shit for nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like
that's
this is just it's so smart. It's just so smart.
One of the beautiful things about Game Pass is that I feel like it kind of eliminates the quote unquote casual gamer because you're not intimidated to try new games anymore because nobody wants to buy a game and suck at it.
Facts.
Yes.
So, it like the Doom may be a game that you've been interested in for a decade, or Call of Duty may be a game you've been interested in for a long time. But every time you see clips online of people playing Call of Duty, it's like, I don't want to go on there. And, I don't want to pay $100 to just
to die.
Yeah, just to die, and people talk shit about me the whole time. Like, so
that's why.
I mean, but that's the truth. I mean, that's what people go through, and that's a thing that people think about. And Game Pass kind of eliminates that. So more people are going to be willing to try Doom because they know that even if they're not the best at it, it's not like they wasted $100 to suck at it.
I agree. And listen, it's crazy, but Call of Duty had that Game Pass effect, right? Everybody was in there playing Call of Duty. People that have not played Call of Duty in a while hop back on because it's in Game Pass. It's just that simple. The story was amazing. The multiplayer is insane. Zombies is wild. They give you so much in that game. But yeah, this game, and let's not forget, like, as much as people like to go ahead and put this energy out there about Game Pass because they are intimidated by what it can do for Xbox and what it's doing for Xbox in the Xbox community. It's such a big deal because having your game in Game Pass, you still have to deliver an amazing game. So if people are out there hyping up freaking Doom because they tried it in Game Game Pass, sharing clips. Look at what happened with Power World. It was all over Twitter. Everybody was talking about it. And it's such a big deal. Yes, you're putting your game in there, but the marketing that comes from it is just insane.
Yeah. And plus, another reason that ponies hate Game Pass legitimately is because they spent all these years developing their own catalog of games, their own library, and someone paid $9.99 or now $20.99, and they have a better library than you.
True.
Facts.
Yeah. I mean, that's part of it too, and it's not on your platform. If Game Pass was on PlayStation, they'd love it, But being that it's not on their,
of course.
yeah, but it's not on their platform, and you pay $20 and you have a better library than them, and it gets updated with great games every month. It kind of, I can see why people hate on it. But as far as Doom goes, I mean, I thought the game looked fantastic. I love what they added to it, and it feels like this is the game that they always wanted to make. And even though they always made great Doom games, they were limited by the budget that ZeniMax was able to provide them. Being a part of Xbox now, I'm sure they got a boost in budget that allowed them to do a couple more things that they wanted to do. You get to experience the story now versus, finding out about the story through, finding, different things in the game, kind of like Elden Ring. Elden Ring, you don't really experience the story, you find the story.
Yes.
So there's a bunch of games like that, but now you get to experience it. Now they have a couple different modes. Now they have a giant that you can play as a giant mech. You can ride a dragon. There's more things that they've been afforded to do now that they have the power of a Microsoft behind them. And that's kind of the thing that we've been excited to see. A lot of these developers, whether it be a Psychonauts 2 at Double Fine or Starfield becoming the game that they really wanted it to be, or South of Midnight, like we're seeing all these games from these developers that a lot of them, before Xbox purchased them, we didn't necessarily have the highest opinion of. But now that they have the power of Microsoft behind them and they're really able to show what they're capable of, we're seeing some really great stuff from them. And the games that were already great, like Doom, we're seeing even more greatness from them. And it's very exciting.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Let's for a second, let's put out here some real truth about what's happening, because we knew that Microsoft going ahead and scooping up these companies were going to save them, right?
Yeah.
But understand, Bethesda was down bad, right? Bethesda was down bad. Id is part of Bethesda, right? All of them were down bad, right? They made great games, and Doom sold, but not enough to save the company, right? So Xbox buying them, we knew it was going to be a huge deal for these developers, and I've constantly said it, and we've said it here, where it's like, being purchased, like that whole consolidation bullshit that was being talked about, and consolidation is bad. I bet now, looking back at how many people have lost their jobs, we could see that consolidation should have happened earlier for some of these places to be saved. You know what I'm saying? Like, redundancy has happened, which is fine, but like the creatives, the people who are actually good at their job and making and creating stuff, the people that Xbox has bought, they're safer than ever. Look at everything they've shown. These are people working at the highest levels now, where they're creatively free to do what they want to do, right? And the fact that, to be clear, Xbox is not hoarding this, right? We are now going ahead and putting these games that Xbox is funding, that is now these studios can do their best work, and they're putting it out there for the world as well. Right, we're getting the benefits from those people buying it, but they're getting the benefits of enjoying high quality gaming. Like Xbox is, we always joked about Xbox saving, gaming. Like I said it for a long time that Xbox is the only place that AAA gaming is alive and well in a creative way, right? Where they're allowed to make great games because of the freedom of the dollars that Microsoft has and Xbox has available to them.
Agreed.
And Game Pass, right? But it's like now they're allowing these other places to have elevated gaming experiences because great studios are are able to actually go up, right? They're able to get better, to become like their final form, right? Or not final, right? Because they're going to constantly be evolving, but they're leveling up, right? As studios, because Xbox is backing them and allowing that to happen. So, as much as these ponies are crying and we make fun of them and do all that stuff, just for gaming in general, right? For the health of our favorite hobby, right?
Absolutely.
For the health of what we love to experience and talk about and and spend our time with, like, Xbox is providing that now. They're taking it and making it where it's not just the wealthy who can have a great game, right?
Yeah.
If you're on PlayStation, you're not stuck with the fact that Sony's broken. They can't figure out how to make good games. You have Xbox now to deliver a certain quality bar that outside of the best third-party games, right? Outside of the top tier third-party games, Xbox is delivering that. I think that's huge.
Yeah.
You actually just sparked a thought in my head when you were talking about what Xbox will force them to do. And it's just a contrast between them and PlayStation, because we heard Hiroki, he said, I visited all the studios. We have some great, amazing, talented people, but they don't know how to make money. And at Xbox, it's like, we have great, talented people. We want them to make the best games. We know how to make money. So they don't have to know how to make money, because we know how to make money. You just have to worry about making a great game. You make a great game and we'll make money. So it's like, it's different.
Yeah.
Like over there, they have to know how to not only make, and that's the problem that most of the industry faces, is that when you make a game, you just can't make a great game. You got to also know how to make that game profitable. And that's the problem that most of the industry faces, including them over there at Sony, whereas Xbox kind of has this brain trust where they understand how they're going to make their money, but it's on the creatives just to create now.
Well, remember,
they're taking away that weight, right? With Hiroki sitting there and saying, "Hey, how is this gonna make money?" Right?
Exactly.
Figure it out.
That affects the creative.
That affects
the
yes,
creative,
of course, because the first part of it is the money for them. That's what weights in.
Yeah, where it feels like, what do you want to make? What is your passion? And assuming that their passion is not some stupid ass game that nobody's gonna ever want to play.
Obviously, it has to have substance.
It has to be something that people are gonna want to enjoy, that they can feel proud to show us, right? But they are allowing that, right? And we talked about it in the past. When this was first kind of coming out, right? Like, we've talked about it for sure in the past, but now I feel like it's more relevant than ever because of how much we're actually able to produce now at Xbox, and what we're having. So right now, understand, Xbox has live service games that are successful, right?
Yes.
Your Call of Duties, your Halos, your Minecraft, right? Sea of Thieves, right? These Grounded, like, these games are out and they're thriving, right? They're doing well. People talk shit about Halo because they want to talk shit about it. They try to make it look like Xbox's most revered franchise somehow is on a down. Meanwhile, that game didn't get pulled off the shelves. Season after season, they're coming out. Nothing is stopping. They're doing more, right? So they're killing it there. But this is the thing. Bethesda was dying because they made single player games. They didn't know what to do to get people to spend more money with them, right? And what we have here, and again, we've said this in the past when this was all popping off, but again, it's more relevant now than ever because we have so much of it, is Xbox found a way to take the platform and turn it into a live service platform, right? So instead of it being Xbox, where you're either a single player game or you're a multiplayer game, and that multiplayer game needs to go make money for the long haul, which we have that. But what they have done is they made Game Pass the live service, right? Game Pass is the live service. Game Pass is the thing that gets you to spend money every single month, not just the skins or not that or anything like that, right? So if you're somebody who plays single player games primarily, and you have Game Pass, that's the service, right? That's what's keeping you coming back, because every month you get another one coming in. You're like, oh man, I want to play that. Xbox cracked the code.
Yep.
Game Pass is way more significant than just,
You're absolutely
here's
right.
a service for you guys to buy games. No, it's the foundation of why they can look at their developers and say, hey, go make your passion. Come back, tell me what you're passionate about. What is your team passionate about making next? And if it sounds dope, we'll make it, right? Like, that's what they get, and they are allowed the ability to do that because Xbox, just like you said, right? PlayStation's putting the onus on the developer. How is that going to make money? No. Phil says that game looks dope. Make your game. We'll figure it out. You know what they did? They figured it out. They have a platform that does that. What else they do is they say, okay, we just spent a shit ton of money. We want to invest more than what we were investing before. What do? You know what? All those ponies and all those Nintendo people who are looking over here like, oh man, look at those games. That would be nice. If
look at everything they bought. Look at everything they have.
Let's go ahead and let's milk those motherfuckers too. And that's what they're doing, bro. They're milking PlayStation. They're milking Nintendo. It's all in service of the Xbox platform, the Xbox ecosystem, PC, cloud, all that shit. It's in service of allowing the developers to make the best games they can, to do their best work, so that we in turn have more and more reason to stay subscribed, right? To have these games come to us and enjoy gaming at a level that no one has ever been able to do in the past, man. We're in a whole different world.
1,000%. It's like, tell me your vision, tell me what you're thinking, how you're seeing this, and go ahead and make it happen, right? The world needs to see this game that you have, right? It's special. That has to feel amazing for somebody to go ahead and tell you that and kind of say, here, I've got your back, go ahead and do it. You brought up Bethesda. Yes, they had their own freaking issues, right? And now look at how they've elevated from this merger, right? This purchase. Exactly. Well, yes, but look at freaking Starfield, look at the DLC for it, look at freaking Indiana Jones. Like, this is insane. And I feel, even the Fallout show, right? I think they're hitting a whole different level. That, again, ABK with Call of Duty and everything else that they've got going on. Like, I feel like this is where you can make your dreams come true, right? You're not sitting there saying, because it is the same mentality, right? When you are a studio, you're sitting there, okay, I want to make this, but what is going to bring me the money so that I can make the next game and I can be, self-sustain myself and continue to move forward. Studios close all the time, right? And everybody is at risk. You look at Ubisoft right now. Look at how they're struggling. It's crazy. But I want to circle back because, Farrell, you brought up about Game Pass and it being so great. And that's why there's so much hate for it. And I think that's the problem. There's so much hate for it and people want to lead with hate and envy, right? And if we're seeing something that is as great as Game Pass for the gamers out there and the consumers, and it makes so much sense. Instead of those pony bots or those gallopers sitting there and trying to break it apart and hope that it doesn't exist because it makes everything look less than, why didn't they turn and say, hey, PlayStation, look at that. That's freaking amazing. Why don't you figure something out that you can offer us? How can you elevate your freaking subscription? Give me more. I want more, or I'm going to go over there because that makes sense. I think there's a problem there. And it's if people led with a more of a look, that's dope, just like the Direct today, that was undeniably a 10 out of 10 freaking show. There's nothing you can say about it that it was in any way where there was weakness, right? And so if you see a show like that, for you to go out on Twitter and hate on it, rather than these are the types of games that everyone should be delivering. This is the standard. And ask for more, ask for better from others, right? I think we can all elevate instead of knocking each other down.
Yeah.
Thankfully, we are on the winning side. We are on the better freaking. This is where the industry is moving, and we're a part of it. So, but for others, it's like, man, just like smarten up and wake the heck up. I want to go to the Destroyer real quick. What's up? Thank you so much for rocking out with us. He says, beautiful. Make them cry and scream, fail.
Facts.
I love it. I had to go to that comment. That's freaking amazing.
100%.
Yes.
100%. We got this homie Spartan 661.
Spartan,
What's
what's
up,
good?
man?
Thank you for
This is
being
a
here.
very important message that he just put out here, because this relays 100% to what I was talking about with how it's just different. If you guys remember, so he wrote here, Phil went to all the studios they acquired and asked them what they wanted to do. If you remember, when the deal closed, the first thing he did, not take a vacation from the stress. He didn't say, oh man, I need a break before I do anything crazy. No, immediately, my dude Phil was on the plane going to these studios, right? Going to go out there. And again, he literally said he wants to see what they're passionate about, what they want to do. He says, I know what I would want them to do, but I want to know what they want to do, right? And he did that for every single studio himself, right?
And
going over there.
You know what's beautiful that came out of that, though? Toys for Bob didn't want to be there. They said, okay, we're going to find a way for, to assist you in that. We're going to let you be independent. And then they had some other people inside of ABK that said, I want to make a RPG. And they said, all right, cool. And they made a world-class RPG studio. And they're going to be making, AAA, top of the line RPG that we're probably going to see in another 4 or 5 years. Facts. So, I mean, like they're not just saying that they want to hear what you want to make. They're out there actively making it happen so that you are free to do so.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. It's beautiful, man. It's beautiful. We do have the homie Will, the insider. Broke the rules. Dude, with that $10 super chat, man. Appreciate you, homie.
Thank you.
Says, I'm sorry, everyone. I'm failing the Xbox narrative. I pre-ordered the deluxe editions of South of Midnight and Expedition 33 and the deluxe upgrade for Doom Dark Ages. I know we at Xbox shouldn't buy games. Look at that, man. Goddamn, broke boy.
That's wild.
That's wild. See,
listen,
again, it's all choice. It's choice over here. Again, it's not a flex when that's the only thing you can do, ponies. Okay, when you're saying I'm gonna buy the game, right? It's because that's all you can do. You have to buy the game. It's not an option for you. Will just flexed on all you bitches. Will said, you know what? I got Game Pass. I'm gonna get all this shit, but you know what I want? I want to get the deluxe editions, and I'm gonna go ahead and do that because I can. Yeah, that is a flex.
That's a flex.
It doesn't stop us from buying games. I know for me personally, every time Xbox releases a game, I pay the $30 for the early access. That's the first thing I do. And then if the game ends up being, I deem it worth my time and money, I committed enough time to it, I end up buying the game.
Yeah.
And that could be first party or third party. So, I'll dive in, play it, and if I really like it, I'll buy it.
Great.
So I mean, everyone has a different, spending method, but Game Pass doesn't preclude you from buying games.
Facts.
Exactly.
Agreed 100%. The homie, Demon Time Reezy.
Let's go.
With a $2 super chat, man. Appreciate you, homie. Says Xbox is cooking. PlayStation is cooked. We are not the same.
Those are two different things, all right, developers? Understand.
Facts.
Understand.
Very different things. Very, very different things. Fucking Demon Time.
Back to back,
baby. With another $2 super chat, man. Appreciate you, homie. Says Xbox is Goku and PlayStation is like Yamcha. If you know, I know. If you know, I know. If you know, you know. Wait.
I think you and I are next to each other on the keyboard, so you probably just fat fingered it. You know. If you know, you know.
Gotcha. All right. If you know, you know. I get that.
Yeah.
Facts. I don't know who Yamcha is. I know who Goku is. I don't know who Yamcha is.
Yamcha is the perfect example of Sony.
Mm.
He started out as Goku's rival, but then Goku ended up like being way more overpowered than him, and then Goku ended up having another rival, and then his rival ended up taking like Yamcha's girl to Pound Town, and now he has like 3 kids with her.
Shit. Damn. See, that
Okay.
sounds like a
Sounds like a
problem.
pony.
You know.
It does sound like a pony, actually.
Yeah.
It does go ahead and sum it up pretty damn good.